Porn-induced erectile dysfunction. It's a thing. I know it's a thing because I had it for 6 years. Ever since I was 18 years old and I tried to have sex for the first time, I couldn't do it. I couldn't make it happen. Now, I went to Google, as people of my generation tend to do when they have a problem, and I typed this in to see what was going on. And what I found is that if it's not a medical issue, and I knew it wasn't a medical issue because I could get an erection just fine by myself with fantasy or with pornography. And if it's not a medical issue, Google said, it must be in my head. It must be performance anxiety. I was nervous, so I couldn't get an erection. I believed this, so I tried to get comfortable with sex. I tried dozens of times over the next several years with several different women to have sex, and it never worked. And this was damaging to me. Every failure was another chip out of my sexual self-confidence. I thought I was broken. I thought maybe I'd been a virgin for so long that I just couldn't get comfortable having sex with a woman. I thought maybe it's masturbation and pornography related, so I would quit for several weeks, then try to have sex again. It still didn't work. Well, what I didn't know then is that it can take months of abstinence to heal yourself of the porn-induced sexual dysfunctions that can happen, and they happen in your brain. See, internet porn is a very powerful stimulus, and one of the ways they can change our brains over time is through dopamine. Now, dopamine is a neurochemical that tells us to go and get something. Say we see a fatty food like a donut, we get a shot of dopamine telling us, go get that donut. We see an attractive woman, we get a shot of dopamine telling us, go flirt with that lady. We see internet porn, dozens of attractive women doing anything you'd want, things that many women would not do ever. And we get an incredibly powerful rush of dopamine in our brains. Over time, with enough consistent flooding of our brains with this dopamine, our dopamine receptors actually numb themselves as a defense mechanism against overloading. They reduce the amount of receptors available. Now, this numbs us to everything. Not only do we need more extreme porn to get off, but regular, ordinary, everyday stimuli just don't affect us as much as they should. So about 6 months ago, I realized that it was time I needed to really confront this issue again and get it out of my life. So I searched Google again. And thank God, over the last few years, several other men, many other men, had come forward with these same issues, and the term porn-induced erectile dysfunction had become a thing. I saw a video by Gary Wilson called The Great Porn Experiment, and this video changed my life. I immediately quit using pornography and committed to never using pornography again. And I stopped masturbating as well. I may masturbate again in the future, but maybe not. I don't really have an urge to anymore. Now, over the last 6 months, I've recovered. I can have sex, full, successful, enjoyable sex, and it's great. But what I realized over this last half of a year is that other areas of my life had been affected by porn use that I'd never realized. For example, my motivation is higher than it's ever been. So, let's look at a porn user. He has a choice. He can clean his room or he can watch porn. Most guys are going to watch porn because it's just so much more stimulating and more fun. Cleaning your room, it's gray, it's nothing. Now, remove porn, and all of a sudden those little things start to matter to you again. The little things like taking care of yourself, taking care of your environment, taking care of your passions and your pursuits and your life goals. All of a sudden, that is life. Life comes back into focus. And that's actually been the greatest benefit of this journey to me. But being cured of sexual dysfunction is also pretty awesome. Now, I didn't want other guys to go through the same 6-year struggle that I went through. So I wrote a book about this. It's called Whack, Addicted to Internet Porn, and it's available on Amazon and other retailers. Now, this book is a scientific exploration of porn addiction and the porn-induced symptoms that we can get, and also a cultural examination of how porn has influenced our society, and a guide to recovery for those who need help. And a lot of us do need help, because this is an addiction. It's hard to leave behind on our own. So, for those of you who need a way out, I wrote this book. Peace.